contributing in a win over the Astros. Tonight, the test comes from the Braves clinging to a half-game lead in the wild card. Cy Young hopeful Tim Hudson gets the call opposite Jordan Zimmerman in Game 1.
It's a great day for baseball.
How do you bottle up what the Nats did yesterday and keep it going? The Atlanta Braves are in town, and they've got to play some serious baseball. They're in the wild card hunt, up by a half game. Kids are having a birthday party at the ballpark tonight, and it was like a party here yesterday, the way these guys played. Bob Carpenter, Ray Knight. So how do you take that from yesterday and keep it going? Because that was one of the best games of the year.
Well, there's no doubt about it. You just keep playing hard, Bob, and they've done that. Got a lot of guys out there showing a lot of energy. Detweiler garnering his first win of the season, throwing the ball exceptionally well, going 6 innings, but aided by the best defense that I've seen all year by anybody else in the league. Any team could not have played better defensively than this. Double plays, great diving plays, ranging, tremendous play here by Gonzalez. You're going to see him outstretched, taking a double away, coming up, throwing the ball firmly to first base, and just they played like a world champion yesterday in every facet of the game. Morris hit a home run, Bernardino hits a home run, Espinosa hits a home run, and just offensively, defensively, pitching-wise, everything went the way that they hoped it would go from opening day.
Adding up to a 7-2 win, the Nats take 3 or 4 from Houston. But it's a whole new thing now. This Atlanta ball club has to win just about every day. These are going to be some fun games.
They've got so much to fight for here in these 3 ball games because they are playing Philly 3 more. Hudson pitching tonight is a stopper, one of the best in the business, dueling for a Cy Young, and hopefully for the Nationals, Zimmer's going to find that good rhythm again.
Nats are 8-7 against the Braves this year, and down in Dixie a couple of weeks ago, Sean Burnett was outstanding. Now, Derek Lowe had beaten the Nats, but Burnett and Storen teamed up with good pitching in tight ball games. The Nats took 2 out of 3. It's the first of 3 with the Braves in town. Straight ahead. Rethink Possible, and by Hager, established 1926. Your own great moment starts at Hager.com. Warm night in the district. It's another September sizzler as we get ready for the hot Braves. At least they were until they went to Philadelphia to take on the Nats. But the Nats have played Atlanta very tough this year. Braves are 6th in the league, hitting at .259, tied with Chicago. But they're 4th in runs. Jason Hayward, one of the best rookies to come along in a while, also sporting a 400 on-base average. It's historical for rookies. We'll talk more about that later. But they are without Chipper Jones, making things a little easier for Jordan Zimmermann and other opposing pitchers these days. Zimmermann did beat the Braves in one of his early starts in his career last year. Comes into this one, his 6th game, 0-2 with a high 6.75 ERA. 7:05 in Washington. Underway with a good fastball for a strike, and that baby sizzled in at 95. Clear skies, 90 in the district. And I know, Ray, you and I talked about this last time out in Philadelphia. 3 starts ago was his game at Florida. We have not seen the same zip on the fastball since then. Maybe these velocities early are an indication that he's on tonight.
He possesses a great arm, Bob. And, 94, 95 is something that he can pitch at that level. He was at 91, 92, according to the gun that they had in Philadelphia. Plus, he was wild. He had a tough time getting ahead in counts and just really worked himself right out of the game early.
2-2. Nats were down 5-1. He'd given up 3 of those short home runs in Philadelphia before Jim Riggleman had to pull him out. A little bit more of a fair ballpark in which to pitch tonight. 2-2 to Omar Infante. And he's around late on it. 28-year veteran, the crew chief Tim McClellan has the plate. Mike Everett, first base. Adrian Johnson, second. Andy Fletcher at third. The umpiring crew tonight.
Jordan is one of the few guys on the staff that can pitch up in the zone.
Kind of hung that ball a bit. A ways to go, and Willie Harris gets there.
PNC Bank scouting report shows you the keys to Jordan Zimmermann's achieving success. Turn on the fan. This guy's averaged almost 9 strikeouts per every 9 innings that he's pitched in the minor leagues and in the big leagues. 3 under. He's held the opponent in his professional career to 3 runs or less in 70% of his starts. Living up to his reputation, dominated in the minor leagues with a strikeout per inning. That start that you mentioned down in the Marlins, Bob, he struck out 8 in just 6 innings pitched. He's a kid that can dominate you. He just needs to get back to that. And
Jason Hayward, the rookie, hitting .285.
Excuse me, buddy. I think only way that you can do it is getting ahead in the count. And we say that over and over and over again. But head of the count, throwing the breaking ball right there, just
getting a pop-up for Ian Desmond to up, 2 down. Nationals defensively. Desmond up the middle with Espinoza. Alberto Gonzalez as Ryan Zimmerman nurses those sore rib areas across from Adam Dunn. Harris, Bernardina, Morse across the outfield, and Pudge back in behind the plate tonight. So Zimmerman takes on Martin Prado, who's tied with Ryan Zimmerman at 307. 6th best in the National League.
Yeah, establishing the fastball early. And when you're at 95, you can get away with missing a little bit off the plate once you get ahead in the count. That showed 97. But his curveball is so sharp and quick, Bob. He's working on his changeup. He just got behind every Phillies hitter, 1-0, 2-0. And couldn't get to his breaking ball. He has a great breaking ball, but you can't throw it when you're always 2-0. And when you don't have command of the fastball, it negates the breaking ball. Just right there, inside part of the plate.
Target away.
Oh.
Didn't miss by much.
Oh, that's a perfect pitch, though.
Nats will appeal, and Prado did not swing.
Whether he swings or not, 1 and 2, that's right where he wants to go. Check out this. It's just going to miss the plate away, but it starts on the plate and then works itself away.
Down to Gonzalez. That's an easy play for that guy. And a real good first inning. Danny Espinosa, lots of power lately, leads off against Hudson. Danny Espinosa in that leadoff spot. Bernardina's second and Ian Desmond is third tonight. And since the end of July, Desmond has just been a revelation. 52 ball games, a hit every 3 times up there, scoring runs, driving the ball for extra base hits, 10 home runs and 62 RBIs. How good will the Nats have to be tonight? They're going to have to be Hudson good. Tim Hudson, 10 of 11 against the Nats in his career. On the season, 16-8 with a 2.61 ERA. And that earned run average is 4th best in the National League. Espinosa checks in at 233. And establishing that first pitch fastball.
And he does that as well as anybody in the league. 70% of his first pitches for strikes. And he's going to pound the strike zone down. He doesn't throw very many pitches up.
Hudson is 4th in the league in wins, 8th in opponents' batting average, and Danny Espinosa racking up extra base hits yesterday.
And this is a big fly. Fastball up around the letters, over the bullpen, about 4 rows above that bullpen, and I can only think of one other home run hit in that area all season long.
Hudson goes upstairs with him on 0-2.
This might be a good matchup. I don't know any matchups are real good against Hudson, but Pudge has hit him extremely well. Really the only one in our lineup that has.
First time Espinosa's seen him in a bouncing ball to the right side. A former Gold Glover, Derek Lee, for the first out.
PNC Bank Scouting Report is brought to you by PNC for the Achiever in us all. Reverse trend. He has dominated the Nationals. 10-1 in 17 career starts. 9-0 in his last 13. Late for 8. 6 times this season he's gone into the 8th inning, pitching 7 innings 17 times. 24 quality starts. TJ times 2. Tommy John surgery. And we also have our guy, Jordan, has Tommy John surgery. Since then, 261 earned run average.
And there's a Gold Glove play by Derek Lee,
which is the best earned run average he's ever had, Bob. The lowest earned run average all the way back to 2003 with Oakland at 270. So the Tommy John surgery has not affected him in any way, having his best year in the last 5.
Pitched at the Mets last time. 7 innings for the 19th time this year. 2 runs on 6 hits.
Wow.
And, of course, the Braves were feeling real good last Sunday about sweeping the Mets. They were en route from New York to Philadelphia when they got the news the Nationals had blown that 3-run lead in the ninth and lost to the Phillies. And one of their broadcasters told me the atmosphere on that mode of transportation changed in a hurry. And then they went to Philly and got swept, even though they only gave up 3 runs per game in that series. Here's Desmond and Ian against Hudson, 3 for 14 in his young career. Bernardino with that out a moment ago, now 3 for 11. Hudson throws that one way outside, then he looks back to check his landing area. By the way, Hudson has gone 6 innings or more, 28 of his 31 starts. As I mentioned, 19 times 7 or more. And as Ray brought up, he also has pitched at least 8 innings 6 times this year. 1 complete game. And a 2-1 to Desmond, who hits a 2-hopper and a big hop for Alex Gonzalez. Zimmerman and Hudson good in the first. Neither team with a base runner. The Braves up a half game on the Padres, and the Rockies have lost 4 in a row. They need to get their thing turned around here pretty quickly. You can be out of it in that wild card race pretty fast. Top of the second, Brian McCann hitting .273. And the thing about the wild card, Ray, every night somebody wins and somebody loses. So there is ground to be gained or lost on a daily basis. It's a lot of September pressure, even for a man with the experience of Bobby Cox and his ball club. And they're playing without Chipper Jones.
But it's what you like, Bob. That feeling of pressure is, so much of that is energy. You feel the pressure, but it is just inside. You're grinding, but it's just a fun time to play. Everything that you do is so important. And you find out if you're a bear down type player or not.
Jordan Zimmerman took Brian McCann up the ladder, got a ground ball. And that's 4 in a row for Jordan to start the ball game. He threw 14 pitches, first inning, 9 strikes, and first pitch strikes to all 3 batters.
Yeah, I was so fortunate, even starting in the minor leagues. Every ball club that I played on in the Reds minor league organization played for a championship, won against Bobby Cox that we'll talk about later. Always won, then got into the big leagues, and first 11 years of my career was either in the playoffs or fighting for the playoffs, averaging 91, 92 wins a year, and it makes the season so much shorter. You start getting into late August losing, and it becomes a grind. But when you've got something to play for in late August, you get a second breath, and every ball game, every at bat, means something to you. You're talking about being able to put something on your mantle.
By the way, in Philadelphia, Shane Victorino leads off the game with a home run, bottom of the first, for the Phillies against R.A. Dickey, and they lead the Mets 1-0. Trying to win their 11th straight.
Those guys are going to be hard to beat. They're going to end up with home field advantage if they go right through it to the World Series. And with those three starters in that ballpark, you know, odds are strong that they're going to take people down unless something falls apart, somebody gets hurt. Jimmy Rollins announced today that he's available.
Yeah, they're going to be careful with him. By the way, Ray, the 3 games in in Philadelphia, the Braves lost 3-1, 5-3, and 1-0. So it's not like they got blown out. They pitched well, played well, but they were shut down by those pitchers you talked about. And the Braves on a rare 3-game losing streak, and now they're playing only .400 ball their last 20 games, and the Nats are responsible for part of that.
Well, they've been down a pitcher. Jurgens has been hurt. Medlin got hurt earlier when he was throwing the ball so well. He was 6-2, and you know, Hudson has been the one constant. Derek Lowe is 14-12. But they only have 2 pitchers over 500s that are starters, and that's Hudson 16-8 and Lowe 14-2. Since Medlin has been gone, he's 6-2.
3-2 pitch hit out to left center. Willie Harris was playing way off the line, so they had Derek Lee scouted well. Easy out, 5 in a row for Zimmerman to start the game. And that was off speed at 80 miles an hour.
Well, you're going to see them out front when he pounds that fastball early for strikes, and it's 95 miles an hour. You only have one thing as a hitter that you can think, and that I can't get beat with a fastball. So you throw any breaking ball that's off speed or a changeup that's off speed that appears in the strike zone, and even if it falls out of it, hitters are going to be out in front of that thing.
Here's Nate McLouth. And he's in a little bit of a funk again. He's 0 for his last 10, hitting a .184. Sent down to the minor leagues for a while. Back in center field for the Braves. Rips it foul. And the count quickly 0-2. So Zimmerman way ahead of another hitter.
Yeah, and it looked like he ripped it, but he really got jammed on the fastball end. You know, it's really a simple formula. We talk about what's wrong with Jordan, what's wrong with this guy, what's wrong with that guy. When you're throwing that curveball for a strike, when you're throwing the fastball for a strike, and then you elevate, you're just going to end up moving up and down on that barrel of the bat, keeping people from the square part of the bat, keeping them from hitting the ball flush. And he looks tonight just like he did in Florida, except he's got a couple more miles an hour on his fastball.
He sure does. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball ripped, but again, the Nats had him played well. Espinosa throws out McLeod. Adam Dunn is back in the lineup tonight after missing one day. 6 for 31 his last 10 games. But Adam Dunn has faced Tim Hudson 28 times before with good success. We'll tell you in a moment. That's extra tonight. Now it's the ball game, bottom of the second. Dunn, Morse, and Harris. And Adams steps in, hitting .264. How about this, though, against Tim Hudson? He's hitting .321. 9 for 28 career with 2 home runs. The big shift is on. Omar Infante's well out into right field, about 30 feet. That's the shortstop, Gonzalez, near the umpire.
Well, that's as radical as you're going to see it, dude.
Adam Dunn, straight away center field. See you later. He homers for the 3rd time career against Hudson, and the Nats are on top with his 36th. Welcome back from a night off.
Well, in the minor league parks that we used to play in, you would call that out in the street. Most of the ballparks were played with streets bordering them, and this thing is crushed. That ball goes over everything, clears that barrier. I mean, that is 15, 18 rows deep to straightaway center field. Have you seen one hit farther than that?
Not to dead center.
No.
I mean, usually they check up on the grass within 10 or 15 feet of the wall. That was about 30 or 40 feet up, banged off the railing, and the Nats lead 1-0. That's their 144th homer, and Washington is blasting away in the last couple of games. Michael Morse went deep yesterday. He goes right up the middle. Hudson kicks it, and the Nats get a horrible break, but he's safe anyway. And Derek Lee with Tim Hudson don't like the call.
Well, we're going to get to see it slow down a little bit. From up here, it looked like he tied, but we're going to see Bullet. Back Hudson does a little bit of soccer-style save. Gets there, but we couldn't really tell right there. But that barely clipped his toe. The first baseman gets there, leads him perfectly, and he did get him. He nipped him, no doubt.
Well, Bobby Cox checking on the health of Hudson, who took that ball off his leg, maybe his foot or ankle. And then he had the wherewithal to break to first for the Derek Lee throw. So the Nats get a runner aboard, as Morse had one that was labeled for center field.
Couple more looks right here. You're going to see Derek getting there and getting rid of the ball very strongly right out in front of Hudson, and you're going to see him step on the bag just prior to the foot. At the other angle, you could see here, you're going to be able to tell, just barely nips him, I believe. Yeah, I mean by 3 inches. About 3 inches.
Mike Everett with the call. Nats get a break. So you get a bad break and a good break on the same play. The ball hitting the pitcher, and then you get the call. So he's aboard with nobody out, and Willie Harris coming up. And every play, of course, is crucial for this Atlanta ball club. So there are baseball fans in Philadelphia, San Diego, and Colorado really rooting for the Nats tonight. Here's Willie batting $184. He's been on base 7 of his last 10 starts. And the Nats have hit the ball sharply in this inning against Tim Hudson. Willie 3 for 15 career with a double against this pitcher. Brave start tonight with the third best ERA in the league, 3.57, right behind, guess who? San Francisco and San Diego. Giants at 3.39, Padres 3.42. Good pickup by McCann. Sounded like that ball skipped into his glove, and the count's even 1-1. Slider down there. Gosh, that's a great play. That's a great play. Exmo, H.H. Gregg blocked
That's just a great job of being able to put the glove where the ball bounces.
That was
almost a little bit of luck.
Yeah. McCann not always known for his defense. 2 balls and 1 strike. When that ball hits out in front of you that far, and it's a breaking ball with reverse spin, very difficult. He showed some great soft hands right there.
We're really putting up some pretty good numbers against his old baseball club. Well, the Braves have a schedule that favors them anyway. They play the Nationals here 3 and then go home and play Florida and Philly. Last 3 games of the year against the Phillies will not be for the division, I don't believe, unless something goes haywire up there. And with those starters, I don't believe that's going to happen.
Upstairs, and a strike called by McClellan, 2-2.
But as you mentioned, partner, with the Padres and the Giants basically tied with the Braves are going to have to win something like 6 out of 9 ball games. And, and they know that. And although they were looking for help from the Nationals against the Phillies, it always seems to end up going back to having to do it yourself.
Harris hangs tough on a 2-2.
Because it is always within your division. We did play Houston weird 4 games that was not in our division, but
with a 5-team division, somebody has to be playing outside every night. And Jim Rugelman's ball club with a 3-game winning streak, up to 65 wins. Hudson working very slowly here with a man on base.
Might send him here to stay out of double play. No.
Willie Harris gets under one and skies it to right center for Hayward. Maybe McLeod. Center fielder the call for the first out. Second inning, let's have a look at our Luna double. Get your second room of flooring free. 877-241-LUNA. The most ground ball double plays in a single season. And Tim Hudson already with 31. 2 away from the National League record, at least over the last 30 years.
How about Miguel Batista?
Yeah.
32 with Arizona.
And, of course, Andujar in St. Louis used to pitch to his defense on that AstroTurf. I'd throw a lot of sinkers, too, if Ozzie Smith was behind him.
Yeah. He only covered everything between short and third, between second and third. He literally, Bob, played me, and you'll remember, I know, he played me about 10 steps behind that white line that indicated the back part of the infield, and I could not hit a ball by him. I mean, I could not. He would dive at balls up the middle and throw me. I couldn't run a lick, but he would go literally 20 yards for a ball, 40, 50 feet on a 4 or 5 hopper, playing left field and throw you out.
Yeah. Well, the ball got out there so quick on the turf, he could play deep.
He didn't have the greatest arm, but he had the quickest release and the most accurate arm that I've seen from a shortstop.
Several single-digit season error totals. Now here's Pudge hitting .272. He's had some RBIs over the last week or so, and his total up to 49. That's into left field for a base hit. Gonzalez cheating a little bit up the middle in double play position. And ironically, that cost the Braves a double play. That would have given Hudson his 32nd of the year.
Real quick inside lately, Rodriguez. He's been hitting a lot of these balls right to the shortstop, but very quick hands right down through the baseball. Hits the ball so hard that even though he was playing up the middle, he was only 2 steps away. The ball gets by Gonzalez so rapidly that all he could do was react and couldn't get to it.
Here's another Gonzalez. There he goes.
2,816.
Signed for next year. $184 away. And here's Alberto Gonzalez, a good contact hitter. Hitting .263, but Alberto in this ballpark is hitting .290. Sees the ball well here, likes the gaps. and playing stellar defense with Ryan Zimmerman out for a few days. The Nats want to be very careful with Ryan in that rib cage area with that intercostal muscle. They don't want him to hurt that and miss the last week of the season. And I'm sure Ryan doesn't want to back into a 307 batting average either. He wants to get out there and hack and earn his 300. That's a breaking ball on 2-0.
That rib cage is a tough injury, though, Bob. You have those little fibers in there, and every once in a while one will just get strained and pop, and it burns. And every time that you take a deep breath, you can feel it. Now, I don't know how deep his is, but I've had them, and they linger, and it does affect you. And they don't heal very quickly because they're deep in there. There's just really not much you can do about it. You can ice it and put the contrast on it and get a little more blood flow to try to ease it out of there, but it's something that's difficult to get rid of.
Debbie Taylor, you spoke to Ryan today. How's he feeling?
I did. I talked to Ryan earlier, and he said he feels the same as yesterday. He did not take batting practice, did not hit in the cages, and he said that he really just has to wait until tomorrow to see how he feels to decide what the next step is.
Well, Jim Riggleman said this afternoon he would suggest that Ryan not take any swings at all.
Well, you can't. You can't. It affects you so much when you swing. I tell you the one thing that you can do, and I don't think they do it as much now as Gonzalez strikes out as they did in the old time and in my day, was give you a cortisone shot or a celestone shot in that area in order to cool it down. I had to do that, and it will take some irritation, inflammation out of there. They shoot a little Novocaine in there too. Not a big shot, but just enough in there to get rid of the soreness and maybe allow him to finish the season out.
Here's Jordan Zimmerman, 1 for 6 on the year. He's got a base hit to center. McLouth is playing shallow. That's why they hold the runners. With a pitcher batting, McLouth was way in, and the Nats have the bases loaded with 2 outs. Danny Espinosa coming up. And for Jordan Zimmerman, his 6th career base hit.
Well, he hit this ball hard. Fastball that stayed up, and he hit it right back up the middle. And you're right, Bob, with McLouth playing shallow and favoring the right field. Ball's right to him, and shoot, he's only about 160 feet when he catches that ball. No chance to score.
So a big spot for Espinosa, who hasn't hit for average, but my, how he has hit for power. First 20 big league games, 6 home runs, 15 RBIs.
He gets another chance for a grand slam. He seems to be up there.
He'll tap the first pitch. Not a great at bat on a pitch down and away from him. The Nats get a run, though, on Adam Dunn's tape measure home run. We're estimating that about 440, 450. Straightaway center. The Nationals lead 1-0.
$5 raffle tickets to benefit the Dream Foundation. It is your chance to win a Nationals player's jersey or coach off their backs. Here's Marla Lerner-Tannenbaum with more.
And then after the game, we will have everybody come onto the field with their player whose jersey they've won, and they will literally take it off their back and present it to the fans. So it's really fun. It's a really fun day.
And for more information on the Dream Foundation, please go to nationals.com/dream. And just a reminder, too, some great causes to benefit the raffle tickets. The money goes to the Baseball Academy. Marla said that 3 fields are expected to be worked on and opened up next summer.
Well done, Dream Foundation, getting involved with baseball in the community. Badly needed here. Top of the 3rd inning. Braves send up Alex Gonzalez, Matt Diaz, and then Tim Hudson. And Jordan Zimmerman has what Ray Knight would call swing and miss stuff tonight.
He does. That fastball has some extra zip on it at 95. Now, if he was only throwing the fastball, they would eventually make an adjustment the 2nd or 3rd time through. That is some gas, and that looks like a strike, and he did get it.
Wow, Tim McClellan very slow with the strike call.
He always is, isn't he?
He must let the battery and the hitter know verbally, because he sure doesn't let us know for a while.
Perfect spot. How about that? Down and in, on the black, bottom of the strike zone. This kid possesses no-hit stuff now. He goes out there, and every time he takes the mound, he has that kind of stuff. Look at that curveball. What's wrong with that? Nothing.
Yeah, don't call your pitches too quickly tonight.
No, I better slow down.
Yeah, Tim McClellan is very deliberate. Got him reaching. Boy, now, if you're the hitter, you're thinking, he had me out there reaching for a slider. What happens if he buzzes me with 95 on my hands here?
And he also likes to go up with the fastball with 2 strikes. And that is a huge weapon to have in your arsenal. He and Strasburg, 2 guys that can do that.
Goes away with the fastball, doesn't miss by much.
Pudge signaled for it up with his glove, but still a very good pitch. See what they're going to try to do here. Fastball in. Missed with it away.
2-2. Right out there 3 times.
That's not far off the plate. That's a pitch, again, that you've heard me say, and I don't mean to keep inserting me in it, but, you know, it's hard to take those pitches out there.
He's swinging on 3-2 and fouls it. Shane Victorino has doubled in the bottom of the 2nd in Philadelphia after leading off the 1st with a home run. The Phillies now lead the Mets 2-0.
Who do you have pitching for the Mets tonight, Bob?
R.A. Dickey.
That knuckleball.
Joe Blanton for the Phils. And he hit him on 3-2. So Jordan Zimmerman had him no balls and 2 strikes. And I know it was the fastball, but they did some nibbling there. And now he loses the hitter. The Braves have their first base runner.
Well, the first thing that I've seen all night that I didn't like was he missed going inside twice with a fastball. When Pudge called it inside, he went away, and that's 17 to 20 inches that he missed with his pitch. And then there he wants to come inside, and he misses that 15 inches. So first sign of him not going to his spots adroitly the way that he has against everyone else. Diaz somehow working that strike zones. That'll count back to 3-2.
Tim Hudson, good hitter. 7 sacrifice bunts on the year and 14 hits. He does a lot of things to help himself with the bat.
Great athlete.
175 career hitter.
Mike Rizzo told me when he scouted him in Auburn, he first went over there and was looking at him as a dual draftee, meaning he was hitting designated hitter and leading the club in hitting. and ended up in the top 5 in the Southeastern Conference in hitting. Hit a lot of home runs. He said he actually believes he could have made it as an everyday player if he'd have continued to hit.
Well, we know the desire is there. And there's the rest of the weekend. Saturday against the Braves. And the Nats will face Derek Lowe again, throwing Yuneski. Maya Levon goes against a still-to-be-determined Atlanta pitcher on Sunday. And then the Phillies will come in. And if they don't clinch this weekend at home, they might be looking to clinch here. Their magic number is only 4. Jordan Zimmerman throws the ball beyond the tarp. And Matt Diaz might be thinking about third. He'll stop as Michael Morse covers up. And the Nats unnecessarily push a runner to scoring position for the other team.
Just an unforced error. He has a fairly big lead, but Matt Diaz is not a guy that you worry about stealing a base. You've got 2 outs. You're throwing the ball great. You're striking out people. You're getting ground balls. Don't let a secondary thought get in the way of what your game plan is, and that's to get these hitters out, which he's doing so effectively.
Matt Diaz has only run 4 times all year.
Gosh.
So odds are he wasn't running there.
So what? Let him go. Pudge, throw him out. You know.
Target in. And again, Zimmerman missing that spot. It's 0-2. You hope that him hitting Diaz didn't spook him into being afraid of burying that fastball inside to the right-handed batters.
You know what I was thinking, Bob, is when he threw those 2 pitches away, when he was trying to get them inside, that he is convicted about going in there. Pudge gives him the sign in there, shifts inside there, but if in his mind he doesn't really want to go in there, I wish he'd just shake him off and then go away if that's what he wants to do, because he's almost looked like he's pulled the ball to the outside part of the plate.
Pretty good looking breaking ball there, just a little low to Omar Infante, who flied out to Willie Harris to start the game. The Nationals play him about 100 feet off the left field line.
Infield way back to knock the ball down. Look at the infield, how they're playing right on the grass. Michael Morris right there in your pitcher in right field is way in there shallow again. Now this kid doesn't have a lot of pop, but he can hit that ball over Michael's head. He's playing a tad shallow for me right there.
Yeah, that's almost how you'd play an opposing pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, this kid can hit the ball over your head in right field.
He'll pull it right to Desmond. Diaz tried to get in the way. Ian throws out the batter. Our nation's capital all lit up on a beautiful September Friday night. 1-0 Nats. It'll be Bernardina, Desmond, and Dunn. Roger went deep. Sixth inning, a big blow that gave the Nats their last 2 of those 4 runs. Lovely to see those guys stay on the ball, go opposite field, hit it with authority. Look at this. Nationals right up there. Bernardina has 11. Desmond has 10. Espinoza has 6. And Justin Maxwell, still considered a rookie, has 3. Mr. Ramos has a home run. Bernardina robbed on a good play by Derek Lee first time up. The Nationals would have to have a huge final week and a half to catch their home run total of last year. Right now they're at 144. Last year they hit 156, 9th in the league. Right now they're 10th. Say one thing the Nats have done this year, they've given up a lot fewer home runs. Last year they gave up 173. This year 137. ERA last year was 5 runs a game. This year 4.16. Hitting, the batting average is about the same. But the Nationals are down in runs about 5 spots. One ball and 2 strikes to Bernardina. Rick Eckstein watching his young pupil. Target away. Bernardina takes it that way. Hudson turned completely around as he let that pitch go. There's a harvest moon for you on the 24th of September. After tonight, 8 more games. Bernardina continues to spoil those outside pitches by not trying to pull them.
Seeing 6 pitches this at bat, and it's exactly what he must do, Bob, to stay on that sinker.
Get a 2-2 again. That's right on the corner. Bernardina gone. Second strikeout by Hudson. What is up with Ian Desmond and the Atlanta Braves this year? 4 of his 10 home runs against Atlanta.
Hanging breaking ball early in the year. No doubt about it. Fastball. Straight away left field. I think that was a fastball. Sinker to right center field. And then I know this is a fastball in. We crushed the center field in the last time we were in Atlanta.
And how many of those against Tim Hudson? That would be none. We'll see. Derek Lowe pitched tomorrow night. He got him on that not low enough sinker. Way outside, 2-0. Ian Desmond on the rookie charts. Interesting season he's having. More games than any rookie. Multi-hit games right up there. 280 average. Closing in on 140 hits and over 60 RBIs.
Well, he's not going to finish worse than 4th. And he may finish 3rd. But you look at Gabby Sanchez, Hayward, and Buster Posey.
And Desmond muscles one into right center.
Those are the only 3 guys that have better numbers in the power categories, RBIs. I like the way he fights these balls off. There's a lot of base hits to right field. There's a lot of base hits down on your handle. Because you're staying back, you're going to get the ball elevated. You're not getting the right hand. There's that vibration again, Bob.
Yeah.
But you're not getting your right hand, which smothers the ball and hits ground balls into the swing. They're called dunkers or bloops, chinkers, but they are base hits nonetheless.
Here's Adam Dunn. His bloop Almost left the neighborhood first time up. By the way, Desmond, you saw that bat vibrating. Now, Ray, after all these years on the Exmo, now you know why your hands felt so bad after one of those.
Wow.
Because when we see the Exmo and the ball hits the sweet spot, the bat doesn't bend at all. But, man, that thing, it really reverberates. Watch the bat when you don't hit the ball on the sweet spot. Look at that.
That's unreal. And you see why it breaks. Did you see how it gave just below the trademark? Mm-hmm. Almost like the start of a bow starting to bend as you pull it back, but still just enough on the...
Adam Dunn, left field this time. It's another one. The Nationals lead 3-0. Adam Dunn has now hit 37 home runs, 99 RBIs when he touches home plate.
It really is amazing how some hitters just have the number of certain pitchers. You had talked about, Bob, how well that Adam hits against Hudson. And I'm just looking at that ball was up.
367 career now against Hudson.
Hook 'em horns, he says.
And Adam Dunn's now hit 4 career homers against Tim Hudson. The Nationals lead 3-0. They have 6 hits already. And here's Michael Morse. And he jacks one to center, but Nate McLouth grabs it. That was a laser. So Adam Dunn leaves Joey Votto behind tonight, and he's on pace. Well, he'll have to hurry to get to 40, but he's done his job getting closer tonight. And Adam almost a sure bet now for 100 RBIs. Crowd still buzzing about that blast. Adam Dunn, by the way, 5 of his last 6 seasons, 40 homers. 5 of his last 6, 100 RBIs. Been to only one All-Star game in his career, back in 2002. First base is one of the hardest positions from which to make the All-Star team. Of course, he was an outfielder most of those years, but there's always a glut of outfielders as well.
I think outfield is probably tougher to make it than anywhere because you have so many of them, and then next would be first base because you have so many sluggers over there, and you have Mr. Pujols in the league. But Adam tends, he likes the ball more up than down. Hudson more down than up. That ball was up a little bit, but
last year, Adam Dunn hit his 38th homer on September 22nd in a home loss to the Dodgers, and then couldn't hit another one for the last 12 games. So he was at 38. 37 now. Willie Harris flied to center his first time.
Who's that consistent, though? 46 home runs is high. The 4 years with 40, 37, 36 years. Who's that consistent to go 6-7 years between 36 and 46 home runs?
Yeah, that's even more than Albert Pujols hits most of the time. A-Rod would be in that category. Guys who are just prolific home run hitters. And Willie Harris takes one that just misses low, 3-2. Tim Hudson had given up 16 home runs coming in 210 innings. 3-2, and Willie takes the walk. That'll extend the Tim Hudson third inning. And the Nats are having some good at-bats against him. That'll be his first walk at the top of the hour here in our nation's capital. Pudge Rodriguez walking in. The Nats on 2 Adam Dunn home runs lead 3-0. Bob Carpenter, Ray Knight, Debbie Taylor, Masson HD with the first place in the wild card race. Atlanta Braves in town.
Well, another disadvantage that the Giants, the Padres, and the Braves have behind the Phillies is the fact that the Phillies can set their rotation up the way that they want to. And you can't do that when you're battling for the playoff spot. You've got to put them in there, not save anybody, and win every ball game. And the Phillies probably aren't doing that. They won't do that until they clinch.
You know, but the interesting thing about that, Ray, is so many times the team that has to battle right down to the end to be the wild card has been the one that survives the longest and in many cases goes to the World Series. I guess that rhythm of baseball when you're playing hard every day, you know, if you clinch early, maybe it's hard to turn that back on.
Yeah, clinching early would be like the Mets did in '86 with 19 games left. You know, clinching with 4 or 5 games, you never lose that edge. But I know your point, Bob. I've seen that happen so many times when a team plays right up to the last game or so of the season before they get in, and they get in. They play their way in, but then they end up being flat. Yeah. Oftentimes in the playoff. I mean, in the backside of the playoffs.
Remember that streak? I think the Angels started it in 02. They were the wild card. Next year the Marlins were. Then the Red Sox were. So wild card teams were getting to the World Series and winning them. And there's never been a one-sided wild card race.
No,
it's always down to the last
Marlins
week.
got there their first time through the wild card.
Yeah.
When they won it.
Up and in now on a breaking ball to Pudge Rodriguez, who pulled the ball hard and singled to left field back in the second. So here the Nats are, bottom of the third, and there's number 7 hitters already batting again. A very rare feat against Tim Hudson. Meanwhile, the Braves must feel like they've been in the field 80% of the game so far. Their at-bats have been pretty quick, their innings. And Hudson, with men on base, has really slowed things down. Started this inning at 28 pitches. He's thrown 24 here. By the way, the Mets just got a 2-run homer from Angel Pagan. His 11th, top of the 4th. They tied the Phillies, and then the Phillies turn right around and score in the bottom of the inning to go up 3-2. They did that on a Carlos Ruiz single. Look at that, Pudge at 417 when he's 2 pitches ahead in the count. Outfield around to the right, except for the left fielder. Big gap in left center. Harris on the move. Willie gets a great jump, and it's ball 4 anyway. And Tim Hudson's inning will get even longer now with the patient contact hitter, Alberto Gonzalez. And a visit now from Roger McDowell.
Roger just giving him a breather with that many pitches. He's trying to get him settled down.
Well, any offense the Nats get from Alberto Gonzalez is a bonus because this is what he can do with the glove in the arm.
Just don't know how quick a kid has to be able to make that play.
That was a controlled dive. He was already parallel to the ground, and he actually reached up when he saw the hop. That's how quickly he got down in that position.
Well, he feels from the ground up. So when he makes that dive, he's thinking that the ball is going to stay down, so he's diving to be parallel to the ground. You don't want to jump up in the air, and the quickest way to do that is crossover step instead of jab step with your right foot. You crossover step, dive. And just a beautiful play all the way around.
No balls and 1 strike to Alberto, who struck out swinging first time. He won't be able to work the count much now. It's 0-2. Tampa Bay's ahead again tonight, 2-0 at home over Seattle, while the Yankees trail the Red Sox at home 3-1. Tampa Bay is 1/2 game behind New York for first in the AL East. It's going to be pretty easy to figure out the playoff scenarios over there. He was chopping on an outside pitch, 0-2. Right now, if the Yankees won that division, they would play Texas, and Minnesota would get Tampa Bay. And congrats to our buddy Matt Capps and the Twins. They're in the playoffs. Good take by Alberto.
The Braves have not had a very easy time against the Nationals at any of the national ballparks. 22-29 lifetime against the Nationals, and at Nationals Park, 9-15.
And Gonzalez gets jammed. Bounces to the shortstop. Gonzalez throws him out. Adam Dunn does it again. Desmond got a base hit. This time Adam against Tim Hudson. Waits on the ball. Goes opposite field. Washington 3-0. Adam Dunn getting his job done so far, and very rare to have a 3-0 lead on Tim Hudson, at least when he pitches against Washington.
Yeah, the ball club have been so much better at getting good balls to hit and driving the ball extremely hard. Adam taking the day off maybe refreshed him, 2 home runs, but an extra day for George Zimmerman certainly seemingly has refreshed him, as he's throwing that ball 94, 95, 96. Slider is very sharp and accurate, and he has these Braves right now eating out of his hands. 2 strikeouts in 3 innings.
Yeah, Ray brings up a good point. Yesterday was his regular day, but the Nats inserted Ross Detweiler into the rotation. He pitched well, and Zimmerman seems to have really benefited from that. And that fastball zips in. Well, that's actually showing up 86 on our gun, 92 in the ballpark, but not his best fastball. But a little get-ahead fastball. Now he gets the ground ball. Espinosa to his right. He covers some ground. He was in what Ray would call rank pull position, and he got over there in plenty of time.
On a ball that was hit hard, on a man that runs hard. See how he sticks that head right down to that left knee? to get the extension and making sure the glove is on the ground. And then once he catches it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you can just take it to the house. He is so accurate. Look how he stretches, and that left head kind of goes toward the left knee, his left knee to the left elbow, turns that glove backwards. Beautiful. I mean, right in the center of the glove. He catches everything in the center of that glove. That eye-hand coordination, dominant.
Good breaking ball to Martin Prado. He pulled the ball to Alberto Gonzalez first time. That one bounces. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I bet you he is a heck of a ping pong player. Those guys that have those hands and that eye-hand coordination that are that good, it's tough to get anything by him on a ping pong table.
Gonzalez can't get that one, and the Braves have their first base hit. Tomorrow, final Miller Lite party night here at Nationals Park. Get a scoreboard pavilion seat and a drink voucher. Watch the Nats and the Braves for $20. Or you can come early for the pregame happy hour at the Miller Lite Scoreboard Walk Bar featuring $5 beers. One more. It's tomorrow. And actually, I guess we'd have to call that a Miller Lite party day, right? 1:05 first pitch. So you're going to have to be happy for that happy hour pretty early tomorrow. Here's McCann, who bounced out to Espinosa first time. Nats playing interesting defense. Not a big shift, but a partial one. Desmond is almost up the middle. And Zimmerman misses 2-0. Russ Detweiler, 24, pitched last night. Zimmerman turned 24 May 23rd. He was only drafted just over 3 years ago.
Bernardina, 10 feet behind straightaway center field and deep, very deep. You got a 3-run lead. You don't really worry about no doubles in this situation. McCann does have 20 home runs, but this is about as deep as I've seen our outfield play anybody. Fastball just right there.
Should have been a strike. It's 3-0.
That's a strike. That's a strike.
4-pitch walk to McCann, and it'll be up to Derek Lee.
And he didn't miss any of those pitches very much.
All right, we have some AT&T trivia from the smartphone. The last catcher to lead his team in home runs for 3 straight seasons. Ryan McCann has done it a couple of times. That be maybe Mike Piazza? Has he done that?
I think that's a great guess. I don't know anybody.
But in consecutive seasons, that's tough.
Well, I'm sure he led his team in home runs. That ball club. Mondesi was on that club. He didn't lead it.
Joe Mauer been around long enough to do that?
No, well, he hasn't done it because the big guy playing first base.
Pardon me, Morneau.
Morneau, yeah, Morneau led the team a couple of years in a row.
Yeah. No balls, 1 strike. Derek Lee jammed, and he gets a base hit. They're going to hold the runner.
Wow.
Interesting call by Brian Snitker.
Yeah.
Willie Harris has an average major league arm, and he was playing pretty deep.
Yeah, there's no way he'd have made this play.
I'm very surprised. Prado runs well. Can't believe they held him.
Yeah, there's no way that you're going to throw the guy out here. You must keep that other runner from going to second base. Here he gets third base before Willie ever gets the ball, and he's holding him up already. So that's a very conservative call.
Well, and then you have a guy hitting 180 behind him.
Very conservative call there. You see some of that sometime with 2 outs, or no outs, excuse me, with no outs. But with one out, you got to take it as it comes to you.
Well, and I thought Willie would maybe just come up and throw it into second base.
He would have.
As you said, to keep that double play in order.
You could tell he slowed down right there at the last 2 or 3 steps just to get himself under control, to make sure that he does not boot the ball, to make sure he fielded it cleanly.
So Nate McLeod fouls one into the Nats dugout.
But thank you very much.
So at third is Prado. Not much speed at second base in McCann, and Derek Lee at first.
Now, if you have Roger Bernardino over there and you have that in the back of your mind,
with 9 assists,
that's a little different story.
Yeah.
But as you said, or started to say, Willie has a very average arm, doesn't charge the ball quite as hard as Roger.
Nate McLeod will drive it, but it's slicing on a play, and that'll be strike 2. We know this guy is much better than a 183 hitter. Has just had a nightmare this year. They shipped him out to the minors like they did Jeff Francoeur 2 years ago. The 0-2 to McLeod. Up and away with the strikeout. Zimmerman goes upstairs with the #1, strikeout #3 for the second out.
Well, that's what a guy that has this kind of arm can do. He can help himself. He doesn't have to worry about contact because he can stay away from contact. And he just buzzes that fastball up. You see it well, but you just can't get to it. H. Greg, Exmo, four-seam fastball. Look at all that rotation. Just misses it by a couple of inches, but
pretty late too.
A little tardy. Yes, sir.
Here's Alex Gonzalez, who was called out on strikes first time.
That away, Jordan. That's the advantage of not having to throw to contact. This kid struck out 92 hitters last year before he went down with an injury in 91 innings.
Little bouncing ball right to the bag. The third base coach kept the Braves off the board, and then Jordan Zimmerman kept the Braves off the board. On the banks of the Anacostia, beautiful night. Nats lead 3-0. Nats doing it all so far, leading Tim Hudson and the Braves 3-0.
Adam, fastball away, second inning, deep center field, up there to that second level. Fastball up, deep to left field. Same result, 3 RBIs, 2 home runs, 4 total bases, a little hook 'em horns. Boy, he's got a beautiful swing.
Effortless when he gets going like that, isn't it?
It is.
Jordan Zimmerman with a base hit. He's hitting .286 this year. That's inside on the corner from Hudson. Interesting that Scott Olson's throwing. Maybe just on the side session.
I would think so. This early side session.
Out to the second baseman, Infante. Top of the order coming now. Espinosa's 0 for 2. So is Bernardina. I bet Danny Espinosa would like to have his last at bat back. Zimmerman singled in the second to load the bases with 2 outs. And then Danny swung at the first pitch, which didn't appear to be a strike, and hit a little comebacker right back to Tim Hudson. So the veteran pitcher, as often happens in September, takes advantage of the young hitter.
The young hitter's anxiousness, exactly right.
It's one of the things I wrote about today in our weekly Masson blog, talking about some young guys in September. You might find it interesting at massonsports.com, along with our blogs from a lot of our other commentators and experts. And he'll hit this one sharply, but right to Infante. And Espinosa 0 for 3. Tim Hudson getting ground balls now. 3 in a row. Let's look at catchers leading their teams in home runs. 3 straight seasons. Who's the last one to do it?
That a baby.
Wow, I got that one.
That a baby.
I don't know where that came from.
I was with you. I was with you.
I know. You be my wingman anytime.
I'm your wingman, brother.
Bernardina, ground ball and a strikeout. And Roger goes up the middle. Slowed down by Hudson. This will be close. He's out this time. You had a feeling if it was a close play, the Nats weren't going to get that one. This guy can fly. At a 1-4-3, you be the umpire.
Look at him barehand this ball on the run and make it all in one motion. And here's the ball in the glove there.
Man, that's close.
That is as close as it can get.
Looks like Mike Everett had it right.
Well, sometimes the umpire actually sees the ball, and there's about a 5-6 inch depth in the pocket of the glove. And at their angle, they see the ball disappearing, and it hasn't gotten into the web yet.
Desmond throws out Diaz.
Check the ball going to the web, and then look at his hand. The ball is not there, and he is there, so he is safe. He is safe.
Depends on the angle, huh?
Well, it does, because from behind, you don't know exactly when the ball gets into that web. And they say that they try to listen to the sound of the runner hitting the bag and the ball hitting the glove. But as a first baseman my last year, sometimes you catch that ball in the web and it makes no sound.
But let me ask you this. If you're sliding hand first into the bag,
can't hear
there's no sound on that either.
No, there's not. That was actually closer than I thought. That was a tie. And then in my visual, and even in the first replay, but the second one, you could see the white not sinking into the glove, and Roger had already started to fold up with his elbows.
Here's Tim Hudson with one out, top of the fifth, pardon me. And it's soon going to be the bottom of the fifth if Jordan Zimmerman keeps this up. That's his fourth strikeout. We have one more Sunday Family Fun Pack Day coming up against the Braves. You get a seat for the ball game, a hot dog, chips, and soda starting at just $14. Go to nationals.com to purchase your Family Fun Pack tickets for this Sunday. And that's it. Omar Infante is 0 for 2. Phillies still lead 3-2. Top of the sixth inning already at Citizens Bank Park. And I'm sure they're enjoying watching the scoreboard with the Nats on top of the Braves 3-0. That's in there. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Nice rhythm. See the rhythm that he's in, how he's getting the ball and throwing it. Philadelphia was taking a lot more time. Batter steps out there, and that's to break the rhythm up. Great.
That's a good.
He has had great command. And normally I keep tally of how many breaking ball strikes he's thrown, but the majority of his breaking balls have been for strikes. That sets up for this high heater.
He goes away with the fastball. Red Sox are now up 7-1 on the Yankees in New York. The 4-run fourth. Tampa Bay tied 2-2 with Seattle. It's the only division where there's anything at stake over there. And a 2-2 from Zimmerman. He hung the breaking ball. It's hooking, and it bangs off the fair pole for a home run. Omar Infante's 8th of the year. You throw a breaking ball middle in, major league hitters will do that.
Well, a leadoff hitter especially, you know, he's a guy that doesn't hit many home runs. What he is going to drive is going to be something soft for a breaking ball. He's leading off. He doesn't have a lot of pop. That is his 8th home run. But when you've got a 3-run lead there's no reason to go with a breaking ball. I'm not second-guessing the guy, but his fastball is dominant. He hangs it inside, 79 miles an hour, speeds up the bat, and he's able to hit the ball in the air. And that's about his best bowl. Just right down the line.
3-1 ball game.
But again, it's a learning curve. It's a learning curve. Next time he won't throw him the breaking ball, or he makes sure he gets it out there. But another one of those hitters that was behind in the count that worked himself even and was able to do some damage. And he's got a good one. I mean, that's the first one that he's thrown bad, Bob. And the feeling that he has out there is this thing's working. I'm going to pound it away and strike him out. And he made a mistake.
Jordan has given up 7 home runs in 25 innings this year. The league leaders, action-packed table games, red-hot slots await. Hollywood Casino, Charlestown Races, West Virginia. And Jason Hayward started the game at least with a .400 on-base percentage. Not many rookies have the wherewithal or the knowledge of the strike zone to do that. What a great list. My gosh.
Yeah, of all the things that they talked about this kid having pluses, the thing that they talked about that was so different than other players, he has power, he can run, he can throw, he can hit, but was his knowledge of the strike zone. It usually takes a long time to be able to be as selective as he has been right out of his 20th-year-old season. Just turned 21 recently, but the majority of the season, his 20th, he's 20 years old, so in his 20th year. And he'll continue to get better and better.
Yeah, that was another breaking ball.
That'll hurt somebody.
Well, you hate to see him get lit up on sliders here when you've worked hard for 5 innings to get a 3-0 lead. It's now 3-1.
Well, he needs to learn to be proud of that fastball. Be fastball proud.
There it is.
There you go.
Flew it right by him on the inner half. 5 strikeouts for Zimmerman. 1 home run in 5 innings. It's a solo. The Nats will take it. You'll see why. Man, that's a tight field.
What's Teddy doing, skipping?
I have no idea.
Come on, Teddy.
Something went wrong right here. Some heads. George
Teddy.
and Abe down, and then Teddy piles on. Look at that hang time.
We need to check Teddy's blood right now. Look at this. Oh, they're all skipping.
It's all Tom Jefferson with the Heisman pose on the Geico President's Race. I guess they have just about everything down at Monticello but a Heisman trophy. Bottom of the 5th, Desmond Dunn and Morse against Tim Hudson. Ian shows bunt, lays it down, and Hudson has that ball picked off by Derek Lee. Not an easy play for a first baseman.
I think Hudson's the most athletic pitcher as far as fielding in the league since Greg Maddux.
You're going to have to get it further away from the mound than this.
Oh, he's quick as a cat. He's going to get there. He almost threw it away, though. Make him handle that ball. It was a good play. Desi trying to get back into that 45-foot line.
Here's Adam Dunn, 2 consecutive homers against Tim Hudson, doubling his career total. If you hit one to every field, is that called a home run cycle?
Yeah, you can call it that.
He's gone to center, gone to left.
It's also something that Lou Gehrig's done, and Mark Whitten, and Rocky Colavito. There's been a lot of people that take you out of there 4 times.
2 balls and no strike. Hitters count. And Hudson misses under his hands. You know the green light's blazing here. If Adams sees anything he likes.
He won't throw it. Well, I don't think he'll throw him a fastball here. He just soon walk him here. Yeah, he does.
It was inner half.
He was spotted.
Right on the corner. Adams swings at that. He'd be picking out a new bat right about now.
I'm missing a lot of pitches lately.
This is left field, and that's near the line, and it's just foul. That ball real close to spinning into the seats for a ground rule double. And Adam Dunn will return for a 3-2 pitch. This portion of our ball game brought to you by Bank of America. Adam Dunn's made 2 deposits already. Nats have out hit the Braves 6-3 and lead 3-1. And he struck him out after going 3-0. You think Tim Hudson wasn't juiced for that at bat?
Pitch sequence, 6 pitches. He goes with a fastball inside. He comes back with the same pitch, breaking ball though in. Another fastball in, comes back with a strike on the inside part. He wasn't going to go away with him. Fastball up and in, fouls off in a sinker, down. So he decided that, hey, he's hitting everything that I'm throwing away out of the ballpark. I'm going to pitch him inside. And actually, that shows you that 3-0 pitch, Bob. Even though I said he's not going to throw him a fastball here, you can throw the fastball on any count if you command it. And you throw it where you want to throw it. It's the best pitch in baseball, but you've got to throw it where you want to throw it.
Michael Morse has hit the ball hard twice. Up the middle both times. A base hit off of Hudson's leg, and then a line drive right at Nate McLouth, who again plays him about 20 feet over toward right center. 2-0 pitch. Good discipline by Morse.
Yeah, they play him the way you play a left-handed hitter. They play him straight up for a left-handed hitter. So that's swung around, playing opposite field. 3rd time through the order. Actually better than the 2nd time through, but still very good at 249.
And Morse will extend Hudson's inning a bit. Tim Hudson with his 3rd walk of the night. He walked Harris and Rodriguez back-to-back in the 3rd, Morse here in the 5th, and the hitter will be Willie Harris. Willie 0 for 1 with a walk. Red Sox now 10-1 on the Yankees in the 5th inning at New York. 3-1 Nats here.
This is what happens when you swing at the sinker down and in. Tear a part of your shoelace off. Look at the dent. That hurts. That's right on that big toe. You're talking about losing a toenail. Thing won't be healed until spring training if it got him right on the top of that nail.
And Willie takes it upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Giants at Colorado are underway with Lincecum and Chacin pitching tonight. No score, bottom of the 3rd. Giants a half game ahead of the Padres. And the Rockies 3.5 out. Looked like an off-speed pitch. It skipped into the dirt. 2-1.
Four and 2/3.
Man,
80 pitches.
80, huh?
He averages 14 pitches per inning, which is very, very good for any pitcher. 13-14 is about as economical as you can get.
Harris 2 left for Matt Diaz. Nationals strand their 6th runner of the night. Friday night in Chinatown, all lit up and a little bit south. The Nats lead down here in Southeast, 3-1. belongs to the Nationals bullpen.
Well, he couldn't have done it much better, as he was able to get the fastball located inside 95, sizzling. A four-seamer, great rotation up to McLeod to strike him out. Bases loaded, ground ball, unassisted to third. Comes back with a cheese right there to strike out Hayward. 3-2 count in the fifth. 5 innings, just 1 run on 2 hits. 3 hits, 3 hits.
1 walk, 5 strikeouts, resulting in a quiet Mass Mutual in-game box for the Braves. The solo homer by Omar Infante off the left field pole with 2 outs in the fifth. Their only run-producing hit of the night. It'll be Prado, McCann, and Lee here, top 6, against Tyler Clippard.
Well, that's an encouraging outing right there. You've seen Ballister come in out of the bullpen and has thrown the ball exceptionally well. These kids, Detweiler yesterday, 6 strong innings.
Well, that's the best Jordan's thrown the ball since his outing at Florida 25 days ago. Tyler Clippard not used to being in a ball game quite this early. That's a breaking ball way upstairs. Last National Leaguer to have 11 relief wins in a season. Todd Jones, who shared time between the Reds and the Phillies that year, had 11.
Bob, how many pitches did you have Zim with?
83, 56 strikes.
Oh, really an early exit. Just showing you how they're trying to protect these young pitchers. No reason to take him farther. And you're trying to build confidence in these men. Give it to somebody else and let him finish it on out. But you can bet when they feel that he's completely 100% built back up, meaning in his ability to go deep into games, that they will.
And Ray, you don't do this if you don't have a good bullpen.
No.
Since the 3rd of September, 3 weeks ago today, the Nats are 1.5 per game, and it's hard to remember those runs. I guess maybe the 4-run Phillies 9th inning Sunday accounts for most of that. Other than that 1 inning, that bunch of guys has been really, really good. Here's Brian McCann, 0 for 1 with a walk. The shift is on. Desmond again nearly up the middle. Espinosa, short right field. And Alberto Gonzalez, who's a shortstop, is in the shortstop hole. That'll be a foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. And they are flying in Philadelphia. Bottom of the 7th inning. Phillies 3, Mets 2. Phil's trying to reduce their magic number to 3. If the Nats would beat the Braves and the Phillies win, that would knock it down to 2. There's that changeup, a beauty. Brian McCann was all geared up for the number 1, and he got the local, not the express. Nice crowd on hand tonight. Ballpark lively. Always draw well when the Braves are in town. Next week should be interesting with the Phillies visiting for 3. And 1 week from tonight, the Nats will be playing their final series of the year in New York. Target away on 1 and 2 and a step off by Tyler. McCann hits it a mile and foul off the facing of the 3rd deck. He's hit 20 homers this year, driven in 75. Hero of the All-Star game for the National League.
Throwing the straight change up here. If he's that far ahead of the fastball, pull the string on him.
He did.
He tried. Looking down the roster, Bob, you mentioned these young pitchers in the bullpen and success they've had. And I'm just going to throw out some names after this pitch.
And McCann pops another one out of play.
You got Colin Ballister, Tyler Clippard, Detweiler, John Lannon, Stammen, Drew Storen, Strasburg, Zimmerman, that are 25 years old or younger. You've got Scott Olson, who's 26. You've got Burnett, who is 27. And then you throw in there Bernardina, who is 26, almost 26. Desmond, 24. Espinosa just turned 23. Bryce Harper, 17. Yes, he's on the list. Maxwell, 26. Ramos, 24. That is a lot of young players that man, Mike Rizzo, has put together to form what is going to be the core of this baseball club for the next, however, 5, 6, 7 years. And there are several guys in the minor leagues that Bob Boone, player development vice president, talked about. Lombardozzi.
There's a changeup. In fact, he fooled Brian McCann, whose hand came off the bat. And 2 outs here in the 6th inning.
Well, he went with the changeup, and he got him. Look at him way out front. That's what happens. You young pitchers, watch the bat barrel. If a guy pulls you into the upper deck foul, 20 rows, 20 feet, 30 feet foul, then go to something soft, because there's no way that he's going to be able to stay back if he's trying to get the bat barrel that far out in the strike zone. And conversely, if he's that late to a ball that he fouls over the third base dugout as a left-handed hitter, don't go soft with him. Just tighten your pitches up closer to his body and throw your hardest pitch tight to him. Read the bat barrel. Tom Seaver was the best at that. First I ever heard of when I was a young 22-year-old third baseman. He used to ask me, Ray, I want to know where his bat barrel is because sometimes it's tough for me to see. 2-2 count, he would look over there sometimes, and with an indication of my hand, I would put it out in front of me if he was out in front of the pitch, or back if he was behind the pitch, and he went off of that. So it's something that pitchers must be aware of.
One ball and 2 strikes to Derek Lee. 1 for 2 with a base hit last time. And he throws it right by him. Nationals pitchers striking out 7 Atlanta hitters in the first 18 outs of this game. St. Louis a 7-1 win at Chicago. Ubaldo Jimenez, hard times lately. Tim Hudson still in the mix because of his ERA. Who would you vote for, Ray?
I'm going with Halliday.
I would vote with you on that.
All those complete games. He sets the tone for that whole staff. They have two other number one starters in Oswalt and Hamels, but gosh, he's just the most consistent thing in the National League. Just about a guarantee day in and day out. You know he's going to give you 7. They're going to be quality.
8 complete games. Now, Adam Wainwright had 5 going into his game today, but he did have 3 innings of help from his bullpen. You almost have to nitpick to find differences in some of these guys. And I think last year, when Lincecum won the Cy Young over guys who had more wins, I think there was way too much nitpicking that took place. You know, Ray, it's still about winning in this game. And it's hard to win games as a starter. 2-0, and it's way outside the Pudge. Bottom of the 6th underway. Alberto Gonzalez, then the pitcher's spot. Nobody throwing, so Clippard appears to be in the middle of at least a 2-inning outing. And the former starter can go a while. And Pudge taking all the way 3-1.
Well, before we get off of that, when you look into it further, Halliday's 3rd in earned run average. Josh Johnson is actually leading earned run average. Halliday is 1st in wins. He's 1st in complete games. He's 1st in innings pitched. You know, I don't see how you can't. Yeah. He's 1st in strikeouts. The only thing that he's not 1st in is winning percentage when it counts, and guess what? He's 2nd. Mm-hmm. So,
and there are nights when he doesn't get run support either. It happens.
And Josh Johnson has a 157, Garcia 174. They've both missed starts. That's their home earned run average.
You know, and I know sometimes, Ray, we talk about this. It kind of reminds me of the NCAA when they're choosing their last few basketball teams. They kind of take a look at what they did at the end of the season. That's going to hurt you, Baldo Jimenez. Because he was unbelievable through the All-Star break and slightly beyond, but pretty human since. And a lot of times that will ring in people's minds as the thing you remember. How did he do August, September at crunch time? Target in.
And Bob
Gonzalez takes us. Well, that's ball 2, 2-0.
My question to you, buddy, is what ballpark is the toughest pitch to pitch in that you've seen in the National League?
Philadelphia.
And at home, Roy Halladay has a 2.21 earned run average.
Oh my gosh.
So he's pitching in the toughest ballpark in the game, and he has a 2.21 earned run average at home. So he finds a way to pitch there.
2-0 to Gonzalez. Pudge is running. The hit and run's on. It's perfect. And Pudge Rodriguez goes to third base. Jim Riggleman wasn't waiting for a 2-1 count. He pulled it on 2-0, knowing Hudson had to throw a strike. And now you got Tyler Clippard coming up, who could bunt a runner to second base. That was perfect.
You know why they use a 2-1 as the count that they always say is a hit-run count? Because they think you're going to throw a strike. But when a guy throws nothing but strikes, you can hit and run anytime. And here he is, hit and running there behind the count. But even 1-1, 1-0, great counts to hit and run in. If the guy on the mound has control, great execution there. This team is starting to do a lot of things well, and you can do that when you have a lead. You're not afraid to start runners and not afraid to let a hitter take a whack at making contact the opposite way.
Clippard looking to bunt. And he lays down a beauty. Hudson checks the runner at third, throws him out. 1-4. The sacrifice is good. Let's have a look at our Mass Mutual in-game box for the Nats. Jordan Zimmerman was 1 for 2 while he was in there. And you have, well, the big guy in the number 4 spot doing everything so far. Great at bat by Tyler Clippard.
Well, he's a starting pitcher. He's been a starting pitcher, so he's had a lot of opportunities to bunt. A little tougher for guys in the bullpen to bunt effectively because they don't have as many opportunities. but as a former starter throughout his minor league career, it's not anything new to him, and great execution.
Now here's where Danny Espinoza needs to have a good at bat. He got way too overeager back in the second inning with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and Tim Hudson won't even give him a chance. He'll walk him, and they'll take their chances with Bernardino. This will be Tim Hudson's 5th walk of the night.
Well, and it may be his last hitter. You know, you do not take a Tim Hudson out of the ball game, but you do have to stay close enough to be able to touch the other ball club. And a left-handed hitter coming up, Bernardino right behind there. They have Mike Dunn warming up. He's ready. So it's all about now whether Bobby Cox thinks Mike Dunn is a better matchup against Bernardino and can get a double play, or Hudson. I'm betting he stays with Hudson, but I wouldn't be so sure.
Well, no move out of the dugout yet. Tim Hudson gets a lot of ground balls, but they're not at double play depth, so they're playing for a play at the plate. Maybe a 1-2-3 double play, something of that sort. That might be the only way you can get Bernardino. So Rogers steps in, 46 RBIs. And for the Atlanta Braves, this is one of the biggest at-bats of the year, facing one of their pitchers.
And as a hitter, your eyes light up with that infield in.
Roger patiently takes it up and away.
I mean, any ball that you hit crisply is a base hit. And they've always said turns a 300 hitter into a 400 hitter. And these guys are right on top of the hitter, and you don't have a real good runner at third base with Pudge. I don't think you have to play this tight with infield in.
And you should see the leadoff Alberto Gonzalez is getting off second base.
But what happens when you have the infield in right here? You open up all this area right behind the infield that you don't really think about, but you open up a pasture out there to get base hits in as far as bloopers and those type of things. So is one reason you don't want to play your infield this tight with a runner that's below average at third. Certainly you're gaining in front of the...
Bernardino drives it to left center. That ball is caught by McLouth. 2 runners will tag. Gonzalez will go back, but Pudge scores, and the Nationals lead 4-1 on a ball hit extremely hard by Roger Bernardino.
That was nice. Bob, how many times have we talked about the key to driving in a run? I mean, you and I, getting a good ball to hit, a ball out away from you, because that gives you a better chance to drive the ball the other way. Now, he's right on top of the plate, but the ball's out away from him. So it allows you to let the ball get back on the plate. You get a better look at it, and it's the easiest ball to elevate. It's out there right at your barrel, so you don't have to do anything to try to force your barrel through that hitting zone. Beautiful job.
Here's Braves killer Ian Desmond, 1 for 3 tonight, scored on the Dunn homer after singling back in the third. So the Nats have their 3-run lead back. Tim Hudson is due to bat 4th in the Atlanta 7th.
Man, that's a big run right there.
Up and in.
And when you see a guy that's a sinker ball pitcher throw that ball up and in like that, it's because he pulls off the ball, his head pulls toward the first base dugout, his shoulder flies, and the ball goes up and in because he doesn't stay on top of the ball. That usually comes when your legs get a little bit tired or you try to overthrow a little bit. McCann going out to talk to him to make sure that he drives straight to the plate.
Nationals Park, Friday, September 24th at 9 p.m. and the Nats have just scored to get their 3-run lead back. Ian Desmond trying to get them more here on MASN HD. Washington out hitting Atlanta 7-3. Adam Dunn's hit 2 home runs, driving in 3. Bernardino sac fly this inning. Ian Desmond 1 ball 1 strike. Wiseman takes 3-1.
Good take. You don't want to swing at that ball in there. Just hit a ground ball to third if you do make contact with it.
Danger lurking. 3-1 pitch. And Adam Dunn will bat with the bases loaded, and it'll probably be against a guy named Dunn. Bobby Cox cannot afford to let this matchup happen again tonight. Tim Hudson will walk 6 Nationals, 1 intentionally, in 5 2/3. This year against Washington, he had gone 7, 7, 7 2/3, and 7. A lot short of that tonight. Adam is next. Five innings, 83 pitches. Omar Infante, the only one driven in for the Braves tonight. Adam Dunn has tripled that. Straightaway center to lead off to second. Way up there off the rail. And then bullpen, Oppo, third inning, 2-run shot. By the way, in the Dunn matchup history, 0 for 1 is Adam against Mike Dunn. It was a fly out. That's up and in. That's a lot of grand slams. Slow strike call, 1-1. Inside, ball 2. off the plate.
Yeah,
unlimited action.
That doesn't look good.
Well, that's only 16 innings. He's due to give up a run or two, isn't he?
Well,
he's got to throw a strike here. And that was ball 4, but Adam checked his swing and foul tipped it. He's not happy with himself.
Well, he wants the ball away in that situation, but he's also has 2 home runs, hitting the barrel of his bat. Fastball, he was looking fastball, I think, away, and just the ball did run back into him a little bit. Runners will be moving on a 3-2 with 2 outs. Nats lead 4-1. Adam Dunn, base hit. 2 runs will score. It is 6-1, and he's driven in 5 runs tonight. And Adam Dunn, another milestone. That is a good pitch. Down, away, probably a ball. Adam said he vowed this season to swing at more pitches, not because he was tired of walking, but he thought he would be more productive. He is approaching his all-time high in hits, nearing his high in RBIs. How about that? Adam Dunn, a 5 RBI night, another pitcher coming in. The third game I remember this year, Ray, where he's had 5 RBIs or more. And the ball's out of the strike zone, down. We don't see Adam swing at that pitch very much, but he got it away from him, and he's devastating on the ball away. And crushes the ball through that rank pull, driving in 2 more runs, eclipsing the 100 RBI mark for the 7th time in his career. Started the night with 96. He's at 101, and Adam now has 100 RBIs in 6 of his last 7 years. And it's been certified already. Boy, that's clean. It was a clean single, Ray. That's why they call it that. Oh, God. Peter Moylan, sidewinding right-hander against Michael Morse. Tough for righties to hang in against this guy. But here are the Nats again, driving in runs with 2 outs. They drove a run in with the 2nd out on the Bernardina sac fly. And then Dunn delivers, and Washington leads by 5. All of these runs charged to Tim Hudson
and he's responsible for Ian Desmond at third base. Breaking ball outside.
And the only 2 outs of the inning, productive outs. Robert?
Yes, they were. Sack bunt, sack fly.
It's all about pitching, though. Detweiler goes 6. Keeps you in the ball game, gives your offense a chance to do something. Zimmerman goes 5.
Morris tries to pull that pitch away, and the Nats are done. But the damage is done. They tack on 3 and lead 6-1 into the 7th. One, trying to beat the Atlanta Braves for the 9th time this year. Tyler Clippard's been sitting around for about a half hour. So what's important for him now to get himself ready for this 7th inning?
Strikes. Throw strikes. Start off with a fastball. Get himself good and loose. Get a rhythm with a fastball. You've got a 5-run lead, and just then go to your breaking ball and change up. Don't change anything by the way you pitch just because of the fact you have a 5-run lead. He can use all 3 of his pitches, but just get that fastball going and establish that, and everything else should fall into place for him.
Got to pop up. 2 strikeouts in the 6th. He faces Nate McLouth, who's 0 for 2. Braves only have 3 hits tonight. They are in the top of the 9th in Philadelphia. The Mets are batting with runners at first and third and 2 outs against Brad Lidge. Change up away. Clippard keeps bringing it. That ball fouled away by Nate McLouth. And a fastball upstairs. Clippard remains unhittable, striking out his 3rd consecutive batter. Monday night, come to the ballpark. Nats Phillies, first 20,000 fans will receive the team poster early bird schedule. Make sure to visit nationals.com/tickets, 888-632-NATS for your tickets to Monday's game against Philadelphia. Juan Nieves will be in that picture. Here's Alice Gonzalez, the shortstop.
Tight little slider there. 86, a hard one, too.
Jesus Feliciano just struck out swinging, and the Phillies beat the Mets 3-2 tonight. They've won 11 in a row. 11 in September. So right now the Braves are 6.5 out. Could be 7 at the end of the night. And I've got the Phillies' magic number down to 3 right now. Could be 2 later. So Bobby Cox Ball Club just thinking wild card now. No way they're going to catch Philadelphia. Swing and a miss. They keep thinking they can get Clippard's high gas. He has fanned 4 in a row.
Well, he throws the ball from right over top. You see the ball well. The ball always looks good to you up because it's closer to your eyes, but nobody gets more high strikeouts on the fastball in this league than Tyler Clippard. And he is moving up that ladder quickly. And again, Mike Marshall had over 100 innings pitched in 1973. To get those 124 strikeouts. Tyler Clippard at this point with 85 innings pitched, 106 strikeouts, actually 86 and 2/3, 87 and a third. They can't hit that ball up there. It looks like it's hittable.
Matt Diaz hit by a pitch in the 3rd. Ground ball in the 5th. One of only 4 base runners the Braves have had tonight. Well, make it 5. There was 1 walk. And a fly ball to right. Michael Morse well in front of the track. And that's it for Atlanta. 7th inning stretch time on a lively Friday night here at Nationals Park. Tonight's game brought to you by the all-new 2011 Hyundai Sonata. Visit your Washington area Hyundai dealers this weekend. It's all Nats, pitching, power, you name it. 6-1 Washington. And for Washington, Ineski Maya still hunting his first major league win. 0-2, 3 starts, 6.32 ERA.
Derek threw about 60% sliders. The Nationals have fared very well against him prior to that start, but he was nailed as he was throwing that slider away and down, and we must have had 8 or 9 check swings in that game.
34-year-old Kyle Farnsworth takes over for the Braves here. By the way, Nats Extra tomorrow, a little lunchtime from the ballpark at 12:30. Byron and Phil. Bottom 7, Harris, Rodriguez, and Gonzalez. And wait till I tell you what Pudge Rodriguez has done when he comes up. You won't believe it. for 2 with a walk. Farnsworth has always had a great arm, throws extremely hard. Coming into this season, 780 strikeouts, 772 innings. Control has been an issue for him at times, and it's 3-0. Over in the American League, Tampa Bay now leads Seattle 5-2, top of the 7th in Florida. Yankees getting hammered 10-3 by the Red Sox in the 7th. Looks like there will be a new first place team in the East tomorrow. Tampa Bay Rays have done an amazing job of hanging with the Yankees this year. Three and 2 to Willie, who's been on base now in 8 of the last 11 games in which he has started. Another ball game we're keeping an eye on, Giants-Rockies. Typical NL West game, even though it's in Colorado. No score, 5th inning. Tim Lincecum for the Giants. 3 and 2. Willie hits the ball well to dead center. That ball is really carrying, and it's off the wall. That's at least 3 bases. We might have a play at the plate. Here he comes. The throw. Inside the park, home run.
Smoked, and Willie was smoking around the bases. First step out of the batter's box, makes his play. Without him going hard from the get-go, he does not get there, but he is putting him up, laying him down. High throw at home, but I believe he'd have been safe here. It looked like he might be running a little bit out of gas right there, Bobby.
It's a long way to go, Ray.
Oh, man.
Rodriguez bounces out to short. And the ballpark is alive after a very rare sight indeed. Willie Harris with his 10th home run of the year.
Merry-go-round. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Looking up. He knows he has a chance right there. He kicks it in a little bit. Was kind of watching that ball just a little bit. Thought he might have had it, but starting to bog down just a little bit, but gets in there with Pudge telling him to get down. I never had one of those.
That's hard to believe, Ray.
Well, you know, the one, though, that I hit in the country baseball, where I hit it into that pin out there.
Inside the pork home run?
Yeah.
The one swallowed by the pig?
Yeah,
We've heard that one, Ray.
Not by me. Silly.
That's a 120-yard dash, and you're turning and twisting the whole time. It is not like running in a straight line. That is some exciting play in this game. 0-2 to Gonzalez. And he goes up the middle. To his left, Alex Gonzalez. 2 outs.
You can have fun when you're winning. It is so much a difference in just the feeling as it.
And Will Nieves will get an at-bat here for Tyler Clippard, who pitches 2 flawless innings. Sets down 6 Braves in a row. 4 of them on strikes. So the Nationals have hit 3 more home runs tonight and have 146 on the year. Joel Peralta for the 8th, and he's been brilliant lately. And quickly 0-2. Braves have their pitcher's spot due up in the 8th and the top of the order. And that'll do it for the Nats in the 7th. Most exciting play in baseball is the inside the park home run. Willie Harris, what a way to get his 10th of the year.
To this 8-game suspension, but earlier today he had a chance to meet with some members of the Walter Reed Hospital. Now, the Wounded Warriors often come to the ballpark, and Niger took time to talk to them, sign some autographs, and he told me earlier that it really means a lot for him to be able to spend time with them. They have done so much for our country, and he said they're the real heroes. He also told me that he's ready to be back in the lineup, and he's looking forward to getting in there tomorrow. Jim Riggleman saying that he will likely bat him either first or second. Bob?
Niger serving the last game of his 8-game suspension. And the Nats trying to win their 4th game in a row here. Joel Peralta takes over in the 8th. And the Braves will pinch hit the left-handed hitting outfielder with power, Eric Hinsky. .11 for 40. 2 pinch homers on the year and 9 RBIs. in that role. He'll jack one to right field for a base hit. Late inning pinch hitters are a different breed. They do not work the count. They usually swing early in the count. If they see a fastball, they're hacking. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Top of the order now, Omar Infante, a homer off the pole in left field. His last time up.
Braves just 4 hits on the evening. 2 in the 4th, a home run by Infante in the 5th, and then that single there in the 8th. So 10 strikeouts for the national pitchers, 4 in just 2 innings pitched by Tyler Clippard. The last, or 4 out of the last 5.
That's a high strike, and the count's even 1-1. Base hit by Hinsky, only Atlanta's 4th of the game. The Nats have 9. And Espinosa just couldn't get there. Well hit ball by Infante. He's 2 for 4. And really the first hits given up by Joel Peralta in a while. 2 on, nobody out. Bullpen about to get busy again. And Steve McCaddy will take a slow walk to the mound. Jason Hayward is next. This game could change in a hurry. They might be trying to give Sean Burnett time to get ready for Hayward.
He won't be able to come in because it'll be the second visit if he goes back out. If he could bring it in here himself, but can't make 2 visits in 1 inning, so he would have to face Prado if he's going to face anybody, if he doesn't take him out right here. Only 2 visits on the same hitter, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that 6-run cushion looking pretty good suddenly. Looking necessary. Hayward's 0 for 3 tonight. Pop up to short. Grounder to second. And Jordan Zimmerman's final batter. Jordan struck him out.
You know, Bob, in almost every ball game, there's going to be 2 or 3 situations where the team that's leading is going to have to put out a rally by making pitches. And, you know, you got a 7-1 lead. Home run here makes it 7-4. No big deal. But this is the time when you relievers have to make the pitches to keep your game distanced. And, you know, how many times have we this year come in situations where we would make a rally and we'd have runners on second, third, first and second, nobody out, and then somehow the pitcher would squirm out of it. And this is where you truly are able to value your bullpen when they're able to save runs in innings like this late in the game.
Target away on 1-1. Pulled the string on him. Low 80s changeup. Very well done. 1-2.
Well, that's one thing that hitters, no matter, split finger. Look at that split finger. Or that may be the way he throws his changeup, Bob, but he actually has his fingers split. And he did have that ball choked back in his hand, but it's some type of fork ball, split finger, changeup, where the fingers beside the ball kills the speed of it.
Then one even slower had him way out ahead.
Most guys that have a split finger or a fork ball will tend to grip that pitch as they're setting up. Let's see what he does here. He's got that thing way back in his hand right there, but as he comes to his glove, let's see if he has that thing split. No, he didn't do it, so I have no idea what he's throwing here.
Target's way in there. He runs back the fastball, didn't miss by much. 2-2. Peralta, 10 consecutive appearances without giving up a run, and an ERA of just over a half run per game in his last 14 appearances. So these hits very rare indeed against him. And a tough hitter waits. Got him on the hands, straight back it goes.
Bob, he is setting that ball for the splitter when he goes into his glove. See the three fingers to the side of the ball? That means that he's got the index finger and the thumb there on the only two things on the left side of the ball. And he didn't really do any changing, so I think this will be a split finger. Yep.
Yep, and he overthrew it. Sounds kind of like an oxymoron. You overthrow the ball, and it comes up way short.
See how he has that thing split? That's more of a fork ball. The split finger is where it goes down into your hand a little deeper between your fingers. But the whole reason for that is getting that ball dug back into that palm. It disallows you from throwing the ball hard because you're not able to get the extension.
A lot of off-speed stuff from Peralta here. Jason Hayward just broke his bat.
Well, we talked a little bit about the Cy Young Award. What are you thinking about Rookie of the Year now, Bob? With Sanchez, Hayward, Buster Posey has to be in that picture, as hot as he has been. And Desi, as I see it, is probably fourth. But when you look on the sheet, Sanchez is leading in home runs. He's leading in RBIs. He's leading in multi-hit games.
Hayward, and Adam Dunn misses it. Hinsky scores. Infante to third. And the Braves are back on the board. It's 7-2 now. Still nobody out. You're hoping Adam Dunn can at least knock that ball down and get an out at first base.
You just got to make that play. You know, an infielder has to make that play, whatever it takes. If you have to get in front of it with your body and knock it down, but he chooses not to do that. He tries to field it off to the side. Ball's hit hard, but you kids at home, jump in front of that ball, get your body square to it, your navel square to the ball, knock it down. Just like my partner said, then you get the out at first base. And he could have moved over there. He just locked himself up and reached for that ball.
Adam Dunn's 12th error of the year. The Nats have made 2 tonight. One by Jordan Zimmerman and this one.
Yeah, and anytime you can drive in more than you let in, he's +4 on the night.
That's true. I haven't heard the announcement, but I would give Hayward an RBI there. I mean, Adam Dunn knocks it down, gets it out at first. Or was Hinske at second?
He was at second base.
Okay, yeah, no RBI then. Pardon me, I thought he was at third. Now the runners are at second and third. And all you need now is outs. 6 outs to get, but the Braves are not going quietly. Martin Prados 1 for 3.
The Nationals have to be thinking one thing here. You know, too many times that you're behind in a game, they shut you down. Like 1 out of 83 times you win when you're down 7 runs. There cannot be any thought in that bullpen, in that dugout about losing a ball game like this. It has to be the mindset that this is positive. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make the plays, and it has to go. You can't start thinking about bad things are about to happen. You know, that's what we have to change here, that thought process that you're in the lead like this, you're going to close this thing down. If you don't like this matchup, get another pitcher in there. But, you know.
Well, there will be one next because McCann will face Burnett.
And runners on second, third, so what? They don't mean anything if they both score. It's 7-4. Somebody out there has to be able to get 6 outs.
And Peralta gets a big strikeout.
There you go.
That's the 10th strikeout by Nationals pitching tonight. And we'll see Burnett come in and face Brian McCann.
And that's that splitter, Bob. Look at the bottom fall out of this thing. Actually, that's the fastball. I'm wrong. 91 miles an hour. You got to go by that gun.
Kinetic North America on the pitch track, providing world-class technology to our national and homeland security customers. McCann and Burnett, lefties dueling when we bring you back in the 8th inning. On Masson, brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Your local Ford dealer invites you to experience Ford like never before. Ford, drive one. And by H.H. Gregg. We make buying TVs and appliances simple. H.H. Gregg, price and advice guaranteed. That's still on top big. 7-2, 1 out, 8th inning. Brian McCann is one of the best clutch hitters in the National League, and he will face Sean Burnett. And you might say Burnett's been the Nats' clutch left-hander lately. Left-handers hitting him 286 this year. Right-handers 90 points lower.
And McCann 265 against left-handed pitchers. And 277 against right-handers, so not that much difference for him.
Not a matchup to his liking.
No.
And I guess that check swing pretty indicative of how things have gone. Right back up the middle. That's trouble. Desmond will have to hold the ball. The Braves score again. It's 7-3.
Smart play. Two very athletic men almost getting tangled up in the middle of the diamond. And the ball hit slowly. Espinosa playing McCann to pull. Both of these men go a long way, but with the ball hit this softly and with the collision almost happening, Desi choosing not to throw. Very smart.
Next up, the dangerous Derek Lee, and suddenly this is interesting. The tying runs in the on-deck circle with 2 outs in the 8th. Derek Lee, since coming over from the Cubs, hitting .280 for the Braves, 2 home runs, 17 RBIs in 31 games. One strike to Lee, who on the year has driven in 73. Sean Burnett pulls the string on. Outstanding changeup. And he goes with a hard-breaking ball, misses down 2-2. Pretty hard-breaking ball down for the second out. Sean Burnett really mixing up his pitches to Derek Lee.
2-2 pitch comes in with a nice breaking ball down and in. And again, how many times do you see hitters swing at the ball that disappears at the bottom of the strike zone? Good curveball, starting it right below the knee, and then breaking straight down to the plate.
Bobby Cox goes with Troy Glossier for Nate McLouth. Bobby Cox knows he's running out of outs. He needs somebody who can drive the ball here, down by 4. Loss at only .239, 71 RBIs. Most of that coming in the first half of the season. Relegated to pinch hitting duty lately. He's only 1 for 13 in that role.
And actually he's hitting right-handed pitchers better than left-handers, down .230 against left-handed pitchers this season, with only 5 home runs of his 16 being against left-handed pitchers. 29 for 126. And as you mentioned, Bob, has struggled immensely pinch hitting. 2 for 13 against left-handers, so he hasn't done a whole lot of damage coming off the bench.
1 ball and 2 strikes here in the 8th. Burnett goes changeup. Nationals, by the way, in the bottom of the inning have the top of the order due up. And if they can get it out here, the Braves would have the bottom of theirs in the 9th, and that will be the deal. Sean Burnett gives up an infield hit, 2 strikeouts. The bullpen bends but does not break, and Washington leads by 4. we have certainly heard from him tonight.
Now let's take a look at tonight's defining moment.
How about it? Line drive after 2 home runs. Don't have to go out of the park to drive in runs. Driving in 2 more big runs, 4 for the night, 2 home runs, 9 total bases. And there it is. That must mark his 100th RBI for the season.
And Rick Ankiel on a double switch. Although it appears straight up now, he's not batting ninth. He's in center field. And here's Danny Espinosa, 0 for 3, 3 ground balls and an intentional walk. Billy Wagner, because they lost 3 games in a row in Philadelphia, he didn't get the 9th inning work he's used to.
I don't believe he'll retire, Bob. He says he's going to retire, but still throwing 95 with the kind of money's out there. You know, I just can't see as badly as people need pitching. And I know he's always had tremendous desire. There comes a time when you reach a point in your career, though, no matter how much money's thrown at you, you want to be with your family, because it's so tough being away from your family for so much of the time.
Billy Wagner's first year in the big leagues, 95. So this is 17 years for him.
Yeah.
Look at that, almost 12 strikeouts per 9 innings.
He has been,
nobody really close.
He's been a dandy.
When Strasburg gets healthy, he'll have those kind of numbers. And the count's 2-2 on Danny Espinosa.
It's nice to see Danny work back into these counts after getting 0-2. Right-handed, he seems to do that much more efficiently than he does left-handed.
And by the way, Billy Wagner 1 strikeout away from Raleigh Fingers. He won't get it there as he walks Espinosa. Leadoff man on, bottom of the 8th. It's a special 2011 season ticket offer. Place a deposit on 2 new season tickets for next year. You get 2 free. Go to nationals.com/2011 for more information. Lefty-lefty matchup, and I'm not sure how much Roger Bernardino is going to enjoy this. Left-handers against Billy Wagner. 0 for 3 is Roger with a sac fly, his 47th RBI. He lays down a bunt on a breaking ball. He's off to the races. The ball is down the line. Espinosa, he's going to score. Bernardino goes to third. It's a Little League triple.
That's a brilliant play, though. That is a brilliant play. I believe he did that on his own. A guy that's tough, you may not feel comfortable. There's another arsenal that you have to go to. The bunt. He was going to be safe there, very close. What a smart play. This kid is a smart baseball player now. Billy Wagner, nowhere in his mind did he think, oh, he's going to be safe anyway. It's got to be a base hit in the error.
Yeah, originally I'm thinking sacrificing an error, but he was there.
Beautiful play, Bob. That is the kind of thing that gives me chills to see plays that are put together that a player just thinks of on his own and executes them so well that gives you a run on a ball that's bunted, what, 15, 18 feet?
Yeah.
Danny Espinosa showing you the great wheels that he has, scoring easily. Danny scored 2 runs on walks. That's what a leadoff hitter does for you.
Find a way to get on, huh?
Just get on base some way and tally those runs.
And Desmond thinking right field, late for that one. You know, the Braves have had a really strange year defensively as well. That's their 118th error. They're in the bottom 3 or 4 in the league in team defense, which is very unusual for a Bobby Cox team.
Yeah, from what we've seen in the last 2 weeks, they're not playing like a playoff team. Remember those day games in Atlanta and the one night game that McCann got picked off running? They dropped a fly ball in the outfield. In one day they gave up 3 outs. And they certainly have not played well against us in the last 4 games that we've played them.
Desmond trying to jump all over a fastball. The Nats are trying to beat the Braves for the 9th time this year in 16 games, including 5 out of 7 here at Nationals Park. It's the Braves and the Nats, first game of a 3-game series. Washington in great shape here. Bob, Ray, Debbie, Mass, and HD. Nats trying to win their 66th of the year. 2-2 to Desmond, infield in, and he's gone. Billy Wagner drops a breaking ball on him. How about the night of Adam Dunn, Ray? 3 for 4, 5 ribbies.
4th drive of the game, deep central, over the batter's eye, up into the section just below the red porch. And that was, as you would say down south, way back yonder.
Then the other one was opposite field bullpen. So here with 1 out, Adam Dunn has a chance for a 6 RBI night or more. He's the 6th hitter in the National League to reach 100 RBIs.
Just a note on Adam Dunn, his career, when you look at his numbers, they just jump out at you. He's averaged 142 hits in his career. As high as 151. He's at 142 right now, so that's what he's averaged.
Late for that heater, 2-2.
He's averaged 40 home runs, 101 RBI, 29 doubles, and 95 runs scored, while hitting 249. He's hitting 267, so that's the best average he's ever had, 266 being the high.
And he foul tips the ball into the catcher's mitt, angry that he couldn't get it. But the crowd gives him some applause anyway, 2 outs.
The point is, he's having another just fantastic year.
Here's Michael Morse. Mike has a base hit, a walk tonight. Came in hitting 300, so he's just right there still. And he's hit 366 over his last just about 4 weeks. Taking the ball up the middle as well as anybody. By the way, that strikeout for Billy Wagner, he got tied with Raleigh Fingers with the Desmond strikeout and then surpassed him 4th all time for relievers when he got Adam Dunn. To Michael. He was ripping, sitting dead red, couldn't get it. 2-1.
Little up. 96 and up. Good swing. You can see him just a little late. See, as the bat never even gets to the back of the plate and the ball is by him. Get that ball out away from him a little bit. You'll see him cover it.
A little late there. Goes to right field. 2-2. Medina's at third, 2 outs. And Morse is gone. Billy Wagner strikes out the side. Nets pick up an unearned run, and now they lead 8-3. Back with a vengeance tonight. Live reaction from the clubhouse. Interviews, it's all on Nats Extra next. Roger Bernardino now goes over to left field here in the ninth. Justin Maxwell into the ball game to play center. Willie Harris is still hanging around. He's in right. And Michael Morse, who was there, goes to first base. Adam Dunn is out for the night. And Miguel Batista will come in and try to get these final 3 outs and get the Nats weekend off to a wonderful start.
He has put together a good year too, Bob. His earned run average is in the 5s for the most of April and May. He has that thing down to 387. Giving up less hits in innings pitched. Seldom walks anybody. Has been as good as anybody in that bullpen.
Comes in throwing strikes. Alex Gonzalez, the hitter.
Certainly the most versatile. Started in that game for Strasburg. He has been long. He's been short. Been in the middle.
He has a save.
And has a save.
He plays music. Writes poetry.
He can do it all.
I mean, what more can a Renaissance man do?
He can do it all.
Who's a good major league pitcher? 3 balls and a strike to Alex Gonzalez. Nats lead by 5. You don't want to walk anybody here. And Gonzalez fouls it over the dugout. Sinking fastball, it appeared. How about the Nationals and their strikeouts tonight? 13 Ks by the Washington pitching staff.
Sinker, just running it down and hard in. Late break, way over the top of it.
Brooks Conrad now will pinch hit for Matt Diaz. Switch inning infielder. And a strike to start him off.
Bob, when we were in Atlanta, you mentioned how you thought that the loss of Chipper Jones would affect this ball club down the line, even though Infante has played exceptionally well. And they lost the one guy that they depend on, that they lean on, that is not fazed by anything, that has always been, no matter what the situation is, a guy that clutched up. And they've done it with pitching when they were hot. They had their pitching going well. And a lot of timely hits. Gloss hot the first half of the season. But their lineup, when you look at it, it's just not imposing. Although there's some good hitters up and down the lineup, it's just not deep. Lee coming in there has done a decent job, but he hasn't got the clutch hits that they're accustomed to from Chipper.
And a ball hit out to center. Justin Maxwell is there. And the Nats are 1 out away from a 4-1 homestand.
Have the Nationals won 4 games in a row this season?
This will be the first one.
Yeah.
How about that?
I thought that I remembered that.
How about going for 5 behind Yudesky Maya tomorrow?
Well, Yudesky's been very good, except for 3 innings. He's been exceptional with his slider and his curveball. And he looked, his last outing, so much more settled down. I think he's going to be a keeper, a guy that fits in the middle of your rotation.
Freddie Freeman goes up hacking, hitting for Billy Wagner. The Nats about to send the Braves to their 4th loss in a row. By the way, if Atlanta loses this game, they'll be 21-20 without Chipper Jones. Just over 500 doesn't cut it this time of the year. But they're in the thick of the wild card race. San Francisco's winning at Colorado 2-1 in the 8th. And here's Batista, low and inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Batista keeps pumping in strikes.
Only 6 hits for the Braves tonight, 1 extra base hit.
And this is still the 4th highest scoring team in the league. Good pitching again by the Nats. Outside with a fastball, 2-2.
Well, we were squawking a lot about multi-runs and multi-innings, and just as we started talking about that about 5 days ago, 4 straight games the Nationals have done that.
Swing and a miss, it's over. Took over 3 hours. But the Nats, on 10 hits, 3 home runs, including an inside the Parker by Willie Harris, beat the Atlanta Braves for the 9th time this year. More from a happy ballpark straight ahead.